Friends, in this picture we can observe different people doing different jobs and there is a chaos. It is necessary to have the right person at right place at the right time so as to make all of them work effectively. Human resource planning helps to have the best fit for the job. Friends, today we are going to talk about human resource planning, its definition, objectives and process of human resource planning. Generally, we do plan for the future activities, that is to forecast the future. Planning means preparing futuristic action plan based on the answers to various questions starting with what, why, when, where, who and how. We plan for the future considering the past and present. Past experience helps us to understand strengths and weaknesses, and the present makes us aware about the current scenario, which allows us to forecast the future. When we say an organization is growing and achieving success, it means the people working in that organization are growing and achieving success. The success of any organization largely depends on the quality and quantity of its human resources, and it is necessary to have the right person at the right place at the right time with the right quantity or number required at a given time. Procurement of the right kind and the right number of personnel is the first operative function of HRM. Before selecting the right person for the right job, it is essential to determine the exact quality and quantity of people required in an organization. This is the function of human resource planning or manpower planning. Human resource management begins with human resource planning. Thus, human resource planning is moving from current manpower position to desired manpower position. Now, let us know the definitions of human resource planning. First definition, in the words of James Walker, human resource planning is the process of analyzing an organization's human resource requirements under changing conditions and developing activities necessary to satisfy these needs. The second definition is, in the words of Steiner, manpower planning is the strategy for the acquisition, utilization, improvement and preservation of an organization's human resources. It is aimed at coordinating the requirements for and the availability of different types of employees. The third definition is, in the words of Beach, human resource planning is a process of determining and assuming that the organization will have an adequate number of qualified persons available at the proper times, performing jobs which meet the needs of the enterprise and which provide satisfaction for the individuals involved. From these definitions, we can conclude that HRP is a process that analyzes the organization's human resource requirements in changing conditions that includes expansion, diversification and closing down or reducing the business, etc. To survive and sustain in such conditions, it is essential to develop different activities like hiring, training, retraining, redeployment, etc. to satisfy these changing needs. Second point is, manpower planning is nothing but an action plan for acquiring the human resources, utilizing, improving and preserving the existing human resources of an organization. And it aims at coordinating the available quality and quantity of employees with future requirements. The third point is, HRP allows the right person at the right place at the right time that ensures smooth functioning of the organization. Now, let us see the objectives of human resource planning. First one, to forecast future requirements for human resources. Second one, to assess surplus and shortage of human resources. Third one, to ensure optimum use of existing human resources. Fourth one, to provide control measures to ensure that the necessary human resources are available as and when required. Fifth one, to link human resource planning with organizational planning. Sixth, to anticipate impact of technology on jobs and human resources. 7th, to determine levels of recruitment and training and development programs. 8th one, to meet the needs of expansion and diversification programs. 9th one, to maintain congenial industrial relations by maintaining optimum level and structure of human resources. Now let us discuss the process of human resource planning. Environment has direct influence on organizational objectives and policies. On the basis of organizational objectives and policies, HR need forecast and HR supply forecast are prepared. To match this need and supply of human resources, HR programs are prepared and these programs are implemented. This HRP implementation is controlled and evaluated time to time. If there is a shortage, recruitment and selection are carried out, and if there is a surplus, hiring is restricted. Now let us discuss this process in detail. First step is environmental scanning. Environmental aspects play crucial role in the success or failure of any organization. There are two major factors, namely internal and external, that influences the organization. Scanning of these factors supports the organization to understand its SWOT, that is SWOT analysis. SWOT means strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Scanning refers to systematic monitoring of external factors influencing the organization. It includes different factors such as, first one, political environment. It includes various laws and legislature issues and administrative rules. Second is economic environment. It includes general and regional conditions in which the organization operates. Third one, social environment. It includes social concerns such as childcare, educational facilities and priorities. It helps the organization to understand the expectations of the society. Fourth one is technological environment. It includes technological changes like robotics and automation. Fifth one is demographic environment. It includes demographic changes such as age, composition and literacy rate. It helps to understand the labor market conditions. Second is organizational objectives and policies. Objectives are nothing but the destination where an organization would like to reach. Policy means the guidelines. Usually, guidelines are specific and provide the framework to make decisions. Policy statements are those which have a specific purpose behind them. Objectives and policies are prepared by top level management and accordingly strategies are decided. On the basis of these, plans regarding technology, production, marketing, finance, expansion and diversification are prepared, which give an idea about the volume of future work. Considering the volume, that is quantity of work, human resource plans are prepared. Future change in organizational structure and job design could be anticipated and changes are examined to understand the manpower requirements. Third one is HR demand forecast. After considering the environmental aspects and organizational objectives and policies, HR moves towards the demand forecasting. It is a process of estimating the quality and quantity of people required in the future. Forecasting is based on long-term plans of the organization. These long-term plans are translated into functional level and departmental level plans. For example, in a manufacturing company, the sales budget is translated into a production plan giving numbers and types of products to be produced in each period. From this information, the number of hours to be worked by each skilled category of employees could be identified. External as well as internal factors should be considered while demand forecasting. External factors are competition, regulatory issues, economic climate, social factors and change in technology. Internal factors are budget constraint, production levels, new products and services, organizational structure and employee separation. Different methods are used for demand forecasting. These are managerial judgment, ratio trend analysis, work study techniques, Delphi technique and other methods. Friends, let us discuss these techniques one by one. First one is managerial judgment. Managerial judgment is the opinion of the manager. Experienced managers or supervisors who are well acquainted with the workload, efficiency and ability of employees estimate the requirement of human resources for their respective departments. This estimation is based on the future workload and required capabilities of employees. These departmental estimates are aggregated and approved by the top management. This is a very simple and time saving method, but it is quite subjective and is therefore suitable only for small firms. Second one is ratio trend analysis. This is the quickest forecasting technique. Ratio trend analysis means relation development analysis. Considering the past and future time period, future requirement of human resources is estimated. In this method, the ratios like total output to number of workers, total sales volume to number of salespersons, direct workers to indirect workers are calculated on the basis of past data. Future requirements are calculated on the basis of time series analysis or projections. Future human resources are calculated on the basis of established ratios. Now, let us see an example of ratio trend analysis. For example, production level in 2011-12 is 30,000 units. Number of workers in 2011-12 are 30. So, the ratio comes to 30:30,000 or 1:1000. The number of supervisors in 2011-12 are 3. So, the ratio comes to 3:30 or 1:10. Estimated production in 2012-13 is 40,000 units. Number of workers required in 2012-13 is equal to 40,000 multiplied by 1 divided by 1000, that is equal to 40 workers. Number of supervisors required in 2012-13 is equal to 40 multiplied by 1 divided by 10, that is equal to 4 supervisors. If changes in physical stamina, mental ability, values of employees and technology are expected in 2012-13, these estimates need to be revised accordingly. The third method is work study method. This is one of the scientific methods for estimating personnel required. Work study method studies the methods and procedures followed to perform the work and time required for completing the work. In this method, time and motion study are used to analyze and measure the work being done. With the help of such studies, standard time required per unit of work is calculated and decided. It is more appropriate for repetitive and manual jobs when it is possible to measure work and set standards. Job method should not change frequently. Now, let us see an example to understand this concept well. Planned output for 2014 is 80,000 units and standard hours per unit are 2. So, planned hours required is equal to 80,000 multiplied by 2 is equal to 1,60,000 hours. Productive hours per worker in the year are 2000. So, the number of workers required are 1,60,000 divided by 2000 is equal to 80 workers. Now, let us see the next technique, that is Delphi technique. This technique is named after the ancient Greek prophet at the city of Delphi. It is a technique of forecasting personnel needs. It seeks estimates of personnel needs from a group of experts, usually the managers. The human resource planning experts act as intermediaries. They summarize the various responses and report the finding back to the experts. After receiving the feedback, the experts are surveyed again. Surveys and summaries are repeated until there is an agreement with the expert's opinion. This agreement is none other than the forecast of the personnel needs. The unique feature of this technique is that there is no interaction among the experts. The next method is Markov model. This model is very simple. In this technique, the forecast will determine the time that should be covered. Shorter lengths of time are generally more accurate than longer ones. However, time horizon depends on the length of the HR plan, which is determined by the strategic plan of the organization. Second one, establish categories to which employees can be assigned. These categories should not be overlapping and must take into consideration every possible category to which an individual can be assigned. The number of these categories should not be too large or too small. Third one, annual movements or flows among these categories should be counted. These categories are defined as absorbing or gains or losses to company, or non-absorbing, that is change in position level or employment status. Losses include death or disability, absence, resignations and retirements. Gain include hiring, transfer and movement through position level. Fourth is estimate the probability of transition from one category to another based on past trends, and vacant positions are replaced by those who make transition. Markov analysis is advantageous as it makes sense to decision makers. They can easily understand its assumptions. The next is mathematical models. Friends, we can identify the requirement of human resources by using some mathematical models also. These express the relationship between independent variables, for example, investment, production, sales, etc., and dependent variables, for example, number of employees required. First one is employment trend amounts to development. Trends in the company's manpower can be judged by comparing and analyzing the staff during past 5 years. Second one is replacement needs. These depend on death, retirement, resignation and termination of employees. These can be done on the basis of past experience and retirement in future. Third one is absenteeism. While estimating demand for manpower, the prevailing rate of absenteeism in the company should be considered. The rate of absenteeism can be calculated as follows. Absenteeism is equal to number of man days lost divided by total man days multiplied by 100. Manpower planning has two aspects, quantitative aspect and qualitative aspect. Quantitative aspect, it is concerned with determining the number of employees required in the future time period. Workload analysis and workforce analysis are the two major methods to estimate the quantity of manpower. Qualitative aspect, that is skill analysis. The quality of manpower required to perform the task differ from job to job. So, it can be identified only after determining the job requirements. And to know the requirements, job analysis is made. Job analysis gives details about the job. Two immediate products of job analysis are job description and job specification. Job description gives details about the job to be performed. Job specification specifies the requirement of persons to perform the job. Fourth one is HR supply forecast. It includes manpower inventory, losses and additions and external supply. To forecast the supply, organization has to verify the present inventory of manpower, losses and additions of manpower have to be identified, and the organization can use external source for the supply of required human resources. Every organization has two sources of human resource supply, internal source and external source. Internal source means present employees which can be obtained through promotions and transfers. External source means outside candidates who can be obtained through recruitment and selection. The first step of forecasting the future supply of human resources is to obtain the data and information about the present human resource inventory. Such inventory must be obtained in terms of human resources components, numbers, designation wise, department wise, etc. the major components of manpower inventory are headcounts, job family inventory, age inventory and skill inventory. Headcounts, it is total number of people employed, department, skill, designation, payroll and gender wise classification. Second one is job family inventory. It includes number of employees in each job, for example, clerks, typists, computer operators, cashiers, etc. Third is age inventory. The word itself suggests that it is age wise classification of employees. Fourth one is skill inventory. It includes data about education, skills, experience, past performance, effort and potential or suitability for specific jobs. Here is the pro forma used by the industry to know the skill inventory of its employees. Skill inventory pro forma is, it includes personal factors, education and training, experience and skills and additional information. Personal factors include name, age, gender, marital status, address and telephone. Education and training includes high school, graduation, post graduation, professional qualification and training. Experience and skills include job areas, job titles, years of experience, pay drawn and employers. Additional information includes grade, salary, designation, attendance record, disciplinary records, departments, performance rating and career plans. Nowadays, skill inventory has become simple and popular with the usage of information technology. Traditionally, maintaining skill inventory was tedious, but now computers are used to collect, store, maintain, retrieve and validate human resource data, which is popularly known as Human Resource Information System, that is HRIS. Now, let us discuss the losses and additions of manpower. Human resource flows in and out of an organization. From this, we can observe that there is inflow of human resources through new recruitment, promotions and transfers. Outflow of human resources takes place due to promotions, transfers, retirements, terminations, resignations and death. Once the present human resources are assessed, the changes likely to occur therein can be estimated. The effect of potential loss and additions can be calculated on the basis of experience. For this, the formula used is future supply of human resources is equal to present inventory plus potential additions minus potential losses. Thus, future manpower needs of an organization depend on the number of employees required because of loss in current manpower and need of additional staff in consideration with expansion of the organization. After estimating the future internal supply of human resources, external sources of supply are analyzed. Now, we will see the external supply. External source of supply is also as important as internal source. There are some specific reasons to use this source. These are, first one is organization gets an addition of fresh blood, thoughts and experience. Second one, organization has to fill the vacancies of lost personnel. Third one, organizational expansion and diversification plans need experienced external personnel. New additions from outside help organization to improve the status and it may provide entirely different dimensions towards the success. HR programming. After organization's personnel demand and supply forecasting, it must be balanced in order to fill vacancies by the right employees at the right time. This step plays a crucial role in HRP process. Next step is HR plan implementation. It is concerned with putting plan into action. A series of action programs are initiated as a part of HR plan implementation. Such programs are recruitment, selection and placement, training and development, retraining and redeployment, retention plans, downsizing plans, managerial succession planning, etc. Next step is control and evaluation. This is the last step in the process of HRP. HR plan includes budgets, targets and standards. It should clarify responsibilities for implementation and control. Establish reporting procedures which will enable achievements to be monitored against the plan. Once the action plans are implemented, the human resource structure and system need to be reviewed and regulated. These steps may be taken to monitor and control human resource plans. First one is, any addition to the manpower must be considered at the top level management. Second, a properly designed system of reporting changes in the manpower should be employed. Third one, HR budgets based on manpower plans may be used to keep manpower within properly defined limits. Fourth one is, keeping a close watch on overtime workload and casual labor employed. Fifth one is, auditing and utilization of manpower. Sixth one is, measuring the efficiency of manpower. Seventh one, finding out the level of morale and job satisfaction through surveys and correcting the deficiencies. Eighth one, arranging exit interviews for better retention of manpower. And ninth one is, finding out break-even point where payback period for new employees. Thus, we can conclude that human resource planning helps the organization to move from current manpower position to desired manpower position. For smooth functioning of an organization, HRP is must. The process of HRP helps the organization to know the exact requirement of human resources and the right person at the right place and at the right time could be made available. Thank you.